Hello everyone, welcome back. Today also we'll be doing with chapter 5, that is agriculture. Okay, so this is part 2. Okay, so after this explanation is done, everyone, I want you to turn back to the last portion of this chapter, or the last part of this chapter. You will find an MCQ. Okay, so what you have to do is take the correct answer, okay, write it down in your notebook, okay, and then click the answer and send me in my number. Okay, so today what you will be learning is, you'll be learning the different types of farming which is practiced by people all around the world. Okay, so first you'll be learning about subsistence farming. Number 2, shifting cultivation. 3, you'll be learning about nomadic herding. 4, you'll be learning about sedentary farming. And the 5th one, that is the last topic for today, you'll be learning about the intensive farming. Okay, so we'll look into it one by one. Okay, so the first is the subsistence farming. Okay, so when we say subsistence farming, okay, it is a type of farming where an individual person in a small plot of land cultivates crop in order to feed his family and himself. Okay, it is a type of farming where an individual person would cultivate crops in order to feed himself and for his family. Okay, he will not cultivate crops for selling it to the market. He will not cultivate crops for giving to others. Okay, he will cultivate the crops for himself. Okay, and he will also use primitive tools. Okay, he will not be using a tractor. He will not be using some other machineries. Okay, heavy machineries for farming. Okay, he will just use simple tools to complete his agricultural process. Okay, for example, he will use things such as dhows. Okay, and you can see here a person is using a hoe in order to dig the ground. Okay, so the farmers, okay, in this subsistence farming, they use primitive tools. You can just see in the other pictures. Okay, they use dhows and this kind of stuffs to do their cultivation, and the farmer also doesn't care much about the fertility of the soil. Okay, what he cares most is he has to do the cultivation in the small plot of land. Okay, and he has to feed the family. Okay, that is his main priority. Okay, and what he does is he will just use a little bit of cow manure, okay, cow manure and fertilizer in order to give the soil a little bit of fertility, okay, so that crops will grow. Or else, other than that, he will not take so much consideration in looking after his field. Okay, and moving on, we have the shifting cultivation. Okay, shifting cultivation is known mostly in the northeast regions of India. Okay, so what is shifting cultivation? Okay, how is shifting cultivation being done? Okay, so when we say about shifting cultivation, it means what we will do is we will go and cut down the forest. Okay, we will cut down the forest and leave that for some certain period of time. Okay, so it happens mostly in hilly regions. Okay, so northeast India is also a hilly region, and because of which, okay, shifting cultivation is practiced at a very large rate. Okay, shifting cultivation is done by cutting down the trees, okay, and leaving it for some period of time, after which what they will do is they will start burning down the cut trees. Okay, they will start burning down the cut trees so that they will be able to do cultivation in this region. Okay, so this last picture is an example of how shifting cultivation is being done. Okay, once the forest has been cleared, okay, people will start cultivating crops for about 2 to 3 years, or maybe more than 4 to 5 years. Okay, after which they will just leave the area like that, because once they do cultivation for a rapid period, okay, for maybe 3 to 4 years, okay, the soil becomes unfertile, and so what they do is they move to another area in order to cultivate the crops. Okay, so shifting cultivation is basically clearing of forests, okay, in order to do cultivation, okay, but it also doesn't last for a very long period of time because the soil loses its fertility, and because of which they have to shift to another mountain in order to do the cultivation, okay, because of which it is called as a shifting cultivation. Okay, and so what are the plants that are grown in this kind of cultivation? Okay, so we all know we cultivate yam. Okay, one basic example, in Nagamese it would be called as kuchu, right? And the next, okay, it is called as cassava, okay, which is grown in a shifting field, okay, and maize is also grown in this shifting cultivation, and potatoes etc are grown in shifting cultivation, okay. And this shifting cultivation are known by various names all around the world, okay. So in northeast India, okay, shifting cultivation is known as jhum cultivation, okay. In Central America it is called as milpa, okay. In Venezuela it is called as kunuk, okay. Roca in Brazil and Masoli in Congo Basin of Africa, okay. So these are the different types of name which has been given to jhum cultivation, okay. In India also we have different names for shifting cultivation, okay. As such, jhum cultivation in northeast, okay. And okay, moving on, we have the nomadic herding, okay. So this is also another type of farming, okay. Here people of a community, they move from one place to another in search of, in search of food, okay. So what they do is they rear huge amount of animals in terms of maybe cow, okay, or maybe sheep, example, okay. So in the first picture we can see a group of people, okay. What they are doing is they will pack all the luggages, okay, and then set it up, okay, on a camel or maybe on a horse or maybe on a yak, okay, and they will travel from one place to another, okay, with their herd, okay. They will carry their animals along with them, okay, in search of food for their animals, okay. So they depend mostly on animals for their livelihood, okay. So what they do is, along with the animals, they will go around from place to place in search of food for the animals, okay, and in turn the animals play as a food for this nomadic herding people, okay. So here is another example, okay. They take their animals and they don't settle in one place, okay. Remember, they don't settle in one place. They will take their cattle along with them, okay, in search of their food, of their animals' food, okay. After that, they will go from one place to another, okay. So in India we can find these nomadic herding tribes mostly in the Jammu and Kashmir region, Uttarakhand region, as well as in Rajasthan portion, okay, where they move from one place to another taking their cattle, okay. So what type of animals do they rear mostly? Okay, they rear mostly the sheep, okay, goats, as well as camels, okay. They will take these animals and go from one place to another in search of their food, okay, and the yaks as well, okay. So yaks can be mostly found in the Himalayan regions, okay. So mostly the Himalayan people, okay, they will take these yaks and all from one place to another in search of food, okay. And what they mostly do is, when it is summer, they will take their animals to high mountains, okay. But when it reaches winter, what they will do is they will slowly start coming down of the mountain, okay, in order to spend the winter in the plain areas, okay, which is very much suitable for their life as well as for the animals, okay. So next is sedentary farming, okay. okay, with which, okay, at early times, people were just fond of hunting animals, okay, but slowly by slowly they began to settle down, started farming, started rearing of animals, domesticated animals, okay. This type of this is known as sedentary farming, okay. When people started slowly by slowly adapting to agriculture, when they learned about soil fertility, okay, they started to settle down, they started to grow crops, okay. And also what they did was they started a group cultivation, okay, a community cultivation, and also they started domesticating huge amount of animals, okay. And what they did was they used simple tools as well in order to do this kind of cultivation, and slowly by slowly they started small cottage industries as well, okay. Next we have the intensive farming, okay. So in this type of farming, the farmer will have a small plot of land, okay, small plot of land, but what he will do is that he will do intensive agriculture in this portion or in this field that he has, okay. So he will work so much, okay, to produce so many crops in a small plot of land, okay. And these fields are located in populated areas, okay, and they do not need, okay, heavy machineries. All the work is done by human beings, so heavy labor is needed to do intensive farming because they do not use machines for cultivation, okay. What they do is they use simple tools to cultivate their crops, okay. So because of which they depend on huge labor. When we say huge labor, means they need a large amount of human help to cultivate the crops, okay. And also this type of cultivation is done in monsoon region, okay, because of which the soil is also fertile, okay. And also because of the fertility of the soil, they cultivate 2 or 3 crops annually, okay. They can grow 2 or 3 crops annually. Say you cultivate maize, okay, in a particular month, you again, after maize cultivation is done, you will start cultivating chilies, and the next again few months you will start cultivating the rice, okay. It is because of the soil fertility, okay, they can cultivate 2 or 3 crops in a time, okay. So crops such as rice, okay, such as rice, wheat, as well as maize, okay, is grown in this intensive farming, okay, is grown in this intensive farming. As well as we have a sugarcane, okay, sugarcane, as well as we have pulses, okay, like dal, like the grams, like you can just see in the picture, okay. So pulses, as well as we have oil seeds, okay, example sunflower oil, okay. These oil seeds, all these are cultivated in the intensive farming, okay. So today what we have learned is we learned about subsistence farming, okay, where the farmers cultivate crops for he himself and his family using simple tools, okay. Next we have the shifting cultivation, okay. What we have learned in our shifting cultivation, in shifting cultivation, a forest is being cleared, okay, it has been cut down, you will burn all the dead trees and then you start cultivation. But also we cannot cultivate for a very long period of time, okay, just say minimum 3 to 4 years or maybe 4 to 5 years. Why? Because the soil becomes infertile, okay. That is all about shifting cultivation. And the third one is the nomadic herding. In the nomadic herding we learned that the people, along with their staffs and along with their domesticated animal, okay, they will go in search of green pastures for their animals to feed on, because they depend on their animals, okay, for wool or maybe for their skin, as well as for meat and milk, okay. And so their basic livelihood is on domesticated animals, the animals that they domesticate, okay. So what they do is they never stay permanently in one place, okay. They will take their herd along with them in search of food from one place to another, okay. That is nomadic herding. And sedentary farming, okay. Sedentary farming is when people started to learn the art of agriculture and started settling in community, okay. Settling as community during cultivation. When they learn about soil fertility, they started growing crops, they started domesticating animals, they started using simple tools. That is what we learn in sedentary farming. And next, the last topic for today is the intensive farming, okay. The farmer has a small plot of land, but he will do excess agriculture there, okay. So what he will do is he will employ huge number of labor, okay, because everything is done by hand using simple tools. But however, okay, this cultivation is done in the populated areas, like near a city, okay. And so what they do is they use simple tools, and because of the soil fertility and because of the monsoon season, okay, what they do is they can cultivate 2 or 3 crops annually, okay, which benefits the farmer, okay. With which we will come to the end of this topics today, and we will be continuing with the rest of the topics in your next class. But as mentioned, complete your MCQs, write it down in your notebook, and then click it and then send me in my number. Thank you and have a nice day.